Hi, good afternoon. Thank you everybody for coming to our first of 4 ministry visioning sessions. And just so you know where you are, this is music ministry visioning. So first I wanted to start and say on behalf of the board, welcome, and tell you why we are here, why we are doing this. As you know from our developmental ministry, and we've shared this with you during the town hall. Actually, let me ask everyone to raise your hand if you were at the town hall in January. Great, thank you. At the town hall, we talked about the priority that the board had set among our developmental ministry goals this year, and shared ministry was our priority. Shared ministry is where we share our talents, our time, as well as our financial treasures to do the work of the church, do the work of the mission of this church, in service to the mission of the church. And so in part of that, we wanted to have a collaborative discussion, input from everyone here about the different ministry areas, where you see we should be using our resources and time, the connections between each other to further the mission of the church. This is a time to ask for everybody to engage, share your input, and an invitation for creativity. I want to say that we've focused these sessions on individual ministries, music, lifespan faith development, social justice, and caring. But as you're going and thinking and sharing your ideas, we're looking for the interdependence. These ministries are not individual silos, but an opportunity of how do we take the ministries and really help to transform lives, not only here inside our walls, but beyond our walls. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Carol Hillman, who will be the facilitator for today.
Thank you. I think most of you know who I am. I'm Carol Hillman. I'm a member of your board and the stewardship committee, and I will be facilitating this afternoon. First, I want to say thank you to our music ministry task force for keeping us going and for sharing all of your ideas this morning. I personally am very excited and can't wait to see how this plays out. So thank you for sharing. There are a couple of housekeeping housekeeping ideas, I should say. There's a sign-up sheet that's going to be going around. Dana has them. And if you could just let us know who you are so we know you were here. And then also there is a place for you to identify ways in which you would like to participate in this ministry. Could be big, could be small, could play an instrument, could just like music. It's whatever, wherever you are on that spectrum. Second, when we open up the floor for brainstorming, there are 2 people who have mics. Let's see, Beth and David have mics. So we're going to ask you to use the mic because we are live streaming. And when you get the mic, please tell us who you are, your name. I think we all know each other, but just in case, let's make sure we all know who we are. And then we have a covenant we'd like to abide by. Oh, you can't see it. Might be hard to read, but the idea is we want to hear from everyone. We want to hear every voice. And so we're going to ask you to listen as people are speaking. Try to keep any side conversations to a minimum, if none at all. We also this is a brainstorming session. We want to keep things positive. What do you want to see? As opposed to, well, we don't want, I guess, if that is truly important, certainly share it. But this is a brainstorming. Where do we want to go? Who do we want to be? How do we want to do this ministry together? And then be kind. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. And we're going to, first off, are those generally agreeable covenants to abide by? Are we all good? Is there anything that's missing that should be up there? Okay. All right, any other items I should be mentioning before I get started? Okay. Music ministry, very exciting. Like I said, I'm very excited by what I heard this morning, and I hope you are all too. My first question to the group is, what in those presentations excites you the most about the possibilities for this ministry? Oh, sorry, I forgot. I do have one other housekeeping. JB has clipboards and note cards. He will be passing them around. If you prefer not to speak into the mic and just want to write your question down, please feel free to do so. And again, just identify who you are so we can make sure we get all of the questions, ideas, thoughts, brainstorms heard, because we really want this to be everyone together. Okay. Anyone want a note card? One? Well, see him if you decide you do need one. Yeah. Okay. So, back to the original question. What about the presentations this morning excited you the most?
So I'm Sue Compton. I wasn't going to come today in the presentation today. Michael, particularly, you drew me in. The idea of, I'm not a musician. I am a grateful audience of music. I appreciate the music in my life in many places. And the idea of reaching out into the community in many ways, having opportunities for lots of joyful noise in this space is very exciting to me.
I'm Carrie Nielsen. Building off what Sue said, I was so excited about the idea of more events outside of the service in this space. I talked to someone else at coffee hour who couldn't be here who said, yeah, we should have dances. And I think that we should have a semi-annual contra dance in this room to celebrate the vernal and autumnal equinoxes.
Okay, I'm sorry. You have to tell, what's a contra dance?
Probably someone else is more expert at this, but it's similar to a square dance, only you do it in long lines, so you get to interact with not just your 8, but everybody in the room.
I love it. Love it. Done to live music, okay.
Hi, my name is Donna Feltman, and I have a kind of a raspy voice today, but I'm happy to be here. I'm a very soon-to-be member of the congregation.
Yay!
Sue, I need to meet you. So I'm glad you spoke and said who you were, because I'm like, yeah, I needed to meet Sue. Contra dance, the live music is wonderful, and it's very easy to follow. I'm a dancer too, and that's what I bring to the table. So I got very excited. I listened to the live stream this morning. I heard salsa, and I heard outdoor events, like lawn events, which is lots of room for dancing on the lawn. Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Landay. I just want to say that I love Scott Joplin. Thank you.
I was very struck, Jamie Wheeler, I was very struck by Michael Zink's comment this morning. He walked in and heard music that he liked, and that hooked him. And I think that we don't walk in and hear salsa music. We don't walk in and hear a whole variety of other musics that might hook somebody. And I'm not saying that every program has to be hip-hop or reggae, but I think we could do some experimenting, and particularly maybe for the very first number, introduce our congregation to some music genre which we're not very familiar with. We might even like some of them.
when we talk about having things here, I know that I think we need to do some way of advertising, because I know that David had a quartet or a group, and it was a wonderful concert, and it was free, and it was here. But we have to figure out how to advertise for that. And then I have 2 concerts. I'm on the board for Tri-County Concerts, which is emerging young artists, and we have 2 concerts coming up. But I was told that we're really not allowed to advertise if we're not benefiting the church. We're paying rent and whatever. But those kinds of events could possibly be interest to other people, but you don't want to go against the rules of the church. And obviously, we could have plenty of other kinds of music.
So I'd like to, I'm J.B. Hillman. I'd like to kind of riff off what Jamie said and a little bit of what Michael said at the, during the service. I'd like to see us, the idea of using music to get people here and growing the church and shifting the future demographic of this church. I think as we think about music, we need to think about what music is relevant to 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds. It isn't what we traditionally play here. And I think we need to think far outside the box. When we did the rap video a couple months ago, or whenever that was, it was great, but it was also pretty tame for this audience. And I think we really need to find a way to be a little uncomfortable with music, louder, more relevant, more, to get people in that we want to see in this church, as opposed to just playing for those things that we like here. So whatever we can do to expand that, I think there's a huge amount of opportunity for it. There's probably a lot of local talent that we could tap into, including at the universities and other places. So I'd like to be able to explore that a little bit more as well.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Marshall. I just want to remark that COVID did us a real disservice, because before COVID, we did host chamber music concerts and a variety of other things that had to all stop. And I think this is a great opportunity to sort of reinvent. But we often didn't have big crowds, so I think we have to face the fact that there isn't anything that's going to appeal to everybody.
I'm Dave Hunter. I would like to hear the organ again occasionally, maybe monthly, and as part of the service. Organs are important, and we have one. Secondly, if you really want music appealing to 20-year-olds, we do have the Wellspring UU Church, which I think has that design.
Hello, my name is Colin Bunderson. I play the violin, and that's the main reason I'm here. But I was wondering if we could use, for the younger audience, a time where there be a concert or during the service where we could have younger players play for the audience.
I'm Diane Kiker. I often thought it might be fun to have a battle of the bands where a lot of the UU churches, or at least some of the UU churches in the area, seem to have something approaching a house band. Schrodinger's Cats, I think Wellsprings does, maybe Westchester, and have them come and play, charge some sort of nominal fee that would then be donated to some good cause, and have people come and maybe even dance.
My name is Barbara Sunnies, and in response to the suggestion that we need to have much more eclectic choices of music, why is it necessary to have a theme per service or per week? What's wrong with considering expenses and so on, with mixing always some classical, always some other form? But so many people have very strong feelings as to what they like, what they don't like, what speaks to them, what attracts them here. For me, it's principally classical music. And I would almost sometimes determine, well, let's see, I want to hear that, I'll go that week. maybe having a little more of a blend, a mix, and I realize there could be more expense involved, but it's something to consider perhaps.
Yeah, Holly Alden, I just want to say, to have fun with music, we don't have to be all experts, and maybe we could have an open night mic or karaoke night, which would be a lot of fun and pull in a lot of people in the community.
Hi, Kim Billisbach. Continuing maybe on what JB was talking about, reaching out to some music schools, like youth programs or music festivals, to help sponsor those and get the attention of younger musicians or students. Go outside and see if that help brings in.
I'm Kit Burns, co-chair of the art group, and I'd like to see what the music and art group could do together. Particularly, we'd love music at our openings. I'd love to see maybe an open mic that would, a program, sort of a coffee house program for youth. In my day in this church, when I was 16, the youth group did the Christmas service. I'd love to see our young people do more.
I'm going to share an idea that someone gave me, wanted me to pass on, that they'd like to see the music, perhaps the choir, or a music ensemble of folks go to support a social event that's run by another organization as a inspiration to a campaign or something they're doing, so that we're taking our music in partnership with other activities and other groups that are doing good work. So how can we muster up and use that? So that was that's from Rob Wilson.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann Miller-Masana, and I've been around the country and have been a member of many other UU churches. And one thing that has been wildly popular in other churches has been kind of like open mic, but a little bit more organized, but a talent show. Because we have such amazing talent in this congregation, I think that a show like that would bring a lot of money in, would bring a lot of interest, and I think it would be here wildly popular.
Well, I'm Paul Liebman. I just wanted to reinforce that because I've been here long enough to have seen many of these talent shows. Probably 30 years since we really had that era. And Ron Hockenberry was very good at coordinating a wide variety of wonderful things, including getting people from the Philadelphia Orchestra who he knew to participate in string quartets and so forth. So I think we've really got a lot of talent here. And we've used most of it episodically in the past. It would seem trivial to get it back together again. Sorry.
You were kicking me.
I did kick you. Hi, I'm Leanne Miller-Rush. I just wanted to touch on some of the things that people have already said. Bringing community groups in is a great idea, not only because it exposes us to different things, but it exposes our church to these community groups and their fans and their parents who will come and watch. So it's a win-win. I agree about diversity of music in each service and not always having a theme of the same type of music over and over again, like the ragtime today. If people aren't a ragtime fan, they're hearing ragtime all morning. So it's kind of nice to have a variety. Like last week, it seemed we had folk music, we had classical music. Shoot, what was my... Oh, I know, darn it. Yeah, I have to think. So sorry. Too many faces staring at me. Here you go.
We can come back to you, not to worry.
It was a good one. That was the other one was a new one. I don't know. Let me think.
Raise your hand again.
Hi, I'm Julia Hurl. I think it would be nice if we had an opportunity for people who love to perform music, or not perform, but do musical things, who don't have any talent. And, you know, are not going to join a more formal group. I've been going to the folk sings that Marilee and Carl run, and we don't get a lot of draw from people in the church. I think the word folk isn't going to work for everybody. But if we had other kinds of, where you can pull together and play with people, and talent was not required. You know, you could just do it for fun. I think it'd be great.
That's the purpose of that group, but it's not working for me.
Gene Ramsbottom here. I can remember there was a time going way back when, as we came in for the Sunday service, there would be a member of the choir standing on top of standing at the chancel, who would just start singing and invite people to join him or her to sing, and as people came in, they just joined in the singing. It was sort of an entrance type of, you might say, ritual.
Jean, you sort of stole my idea, or you read my mind. I just wanted to point out that I seem to notice that when we have songs where people can sing along, like with the band, you know, Take Me Home Country Roads was one, where everybody, and that's kind of fun. People like to participate, the getting up and dancing, the cha-cha line that ran through the jazz club. Whenever we have the Zydeco band, people get up and dance. I think anything that we can introduce that allows our audience to participate with the music is a nice thing.
Hi, my name's Nini, and I would love to sing with other congregational choirs. So like do some collaborative work, maybe more gospel, a cappella, and just a more collaborative, we go there, they come here. I just think that'd be really fun.
Jansen Wendell here. I was going to bring up the idea of contra dance because we did that for a couple of years, but more generally, social dance can cast a wider net. There used to be a Valentine's dance that the youth sponsored, and it was, I guess it might have been a DJ. But they're not hard to organize, and they can be multi-generational. And I'm happy to organize a contra dance. I'm your go-to guy.
Hi, Sue Compton again. I forget who mentioned it, that we could look for ways as we're imagining possibilities to cross engage with ministries. And I think that using music, dance, gatherings that have those things to support other efforts or other interests of the church is not only a way to encourage people's participation. So, you know, you say you're having a dance and it's just to come dance. Maybe people come, maybe they don't. You say you have a dance and you're supporting the Goat Project with the dance. It gives it a little more oomph. So I think there's really a lot of potential for crossing across ministries with music and dance.
Anybody remember the Movers and Shakers? The little group of little girls that came out and danced. I mean, what a fabulous lift that was for the whole group.
Jody. And Jody was the one that got that started, our pianist.
Carrie Nielsen again. Another thing that Michael mentioned this morning that excited me was the idea of a drum circle, and as a way of having different levels of participation, including for those of us without any actual talent. That's an activity that everyone can get in on, and it'd be fun to do as an evening event maybe, but it could also actually be part of a service, right? If we had a bunch of sticks, right, we could that would be an opportunity for participation.
Hi, Bob Crane, relatively new person here, only been here a few years. But I would like to hear more intergenerational things. Like, there's got to be a way when we have the intergenerational choir to make it more intergenerational. The last couple times that we were here, we had a few kids and the adult choir singing with the adult choir. Maybe we could let the youth pick the music, and then the choir members that want to join in with them.
Were there any index cards that people wanted? I think we're doing well without it.
One more.
Oh no, I'm not shutting it down. I was just asking, just putting out there, if you need an index card, let us know.
I'm Lloyd Cole. Just a couple quick things, building on what Sue said and thinking about working across ministries. One thing we haven't talked about very much is how music could help with social justice issues. And it's always been a strong tie, which I haven't much seen here. So something to think about. And the second thing, just to build on a little bit more, is I imagine the Music Task Force did this, but I hope ongoing, we just go and ask the people in the youth group, what should be going on with music in the church? What do you want to do?
This is Jim Schmid. I just wanted to say, from thinking back in this discussion, Wendy and I first became aware of this church through musical activities going on here before we joined the church. And this is back in the 1970s. And then when our boys were in the Sunday school, we were not singing in the choir for the most part. And we've been able to do that more recently. I know that Vincent tried very hard to get more participation from the youth into the intergenerational choir, and that was always very difficult, given the busyness of the young people in this congregation. So it's a great thing, and I'm all in support of it, but it's not an easy thing to happen, and I don't know how to make it happen.
Kit Burns again. I loved it when the Chester Youth Choir sang here. I'd love to see them come again and do more of it. Also, during the Family Promise Week, I thought we could do more in terms of an art night or a music night that they could be involved with.
Donna Feltman again. One of my earliest memories, my Lutheran church as a child was putting on the show Godspell in the sanctuary. And we didn't involve many adults at the time, but it could be something, a theatrical presentation that would involve both the children and the adults, and I'd be happy to be part of that and be part of that production.
Just piggybacking on the social action aspect that you were referring to. My name's Bob Batt, by the way. We have hosted families here on nights when we've had Jazz and Joe, and they've been welcomed and have participated in that. They've also been invited to football parties and all sorts of things. So we are starting to blend social action in with our everyday activities here at the church.
Yeah, this is Barbara Sunnies again. With regard to the young violinist here who would like to see more opportunities given to young people to play, I think it's a great idea. And combining that with developing some sort of intergenerational program, it may be too much to expect hordes of teenagers to come in and participate musically or any other way, except for a dance, that sort of thing, a social gathering. But to involve those who are able to come in, be a part of the service, could be 2 minutes worth, but who very much need opportunities to play or sing.
We've been touching on a number of our other prompts, but I'm just going to read them again, or read them for the first time, and you're welcome to respond to any of these prompts going forward. And if I can just one moment. So a couple of our other prompts were, what was most important to you? And what do you feel is going to have the most impact on our mission at MLUC? We also wanted to hear what other ideas, and you've already been sharing them, what other ideas did you have other than that which was shared at the service? And then our other prompt was, how do you want to be involved? How would you like to participate in the music ministry? So those questions are thrown out, and you can respond.
You want me to do the new thing?
Do whatever you were going to do. Okay. I didn't want to stop you.
I happen to know there is such a thing as a social justice. There is such a thing as a social justice songbook. I will look for it. It is meant to be used marching. Do we still do that? And the other thing is that I was impressed when Westchester University's music department did their memorial concert for Vincent. Our choir was joined with members of their choirs, both in what we did and what they did. And it occurs to me that if we have some people in our choir joining some people in the congregation who are younger, that would add strength to, I think the multi-generational idea is probably the strongest one. I've noticed the busyness of young people, and it's hard to get a children's choir anymore. Vincent tried. It can be tried again, but just the blending of more experienced, those guys in Westchester were professionals, and we were very, very good amateurs. So, different levels support one another in singing.
So as somebody who is not a musician, but really enjoys music, and I enjoy participating in music, I think in alignment with our mission, providing opportunities for the non-talented among us to participate in music, drum circles, singing where it's not a perfection. It's literally just allowing yourself to enjoy that experience are really transformative for people. And Deirdre and I years ago went to a women's retreat, UU thing that was African drumming and dancing. And it was so freeing and so wonderful. And I think that we could host things like that here that are, really magical for people to unlock that aspect of their spirits. So. Hey.
Yeah, you owe me. I have a couple of thoughts listening to what people have been saying, and it seems to be in two camps. One is, what do we do for our congregation that they would enjoy and would get people involved? And the other is, what can we do bringing outside groups in? And I know for a fact that that many music groups in the area are always looking for a place to perform that doesn't cost them an arm and a leg. Now this is a great place because we've not only got parking, but it doesn't look churchy, because it is discouraging to go in with a secular group in front of a big cross. We don't have that. We have what is more like a normal performance venue. The question is how much. That's a lot of administrative work to book other groups and bring people in. But it would put MLUC on the map, because I know that there's just word around, well, what church has a regular Monday program or a Wednesday program or a Sunday afternoon program?
and you will just get people coming in for the music, and maybe they pay attention to the church and maybe they don't. But I think we should think of it in two ways. One is, what do we do for ourselves, and what do we do really to bring the outside community in and make, have people know where MLUC is. I mean, I've lived here my entire life, never heard of the place until 5 years ago. So, two ways to look at it.
So I'd add a third and a question to everybody. So we talked about ways to bring everybody in here. I'd like to just toss out about more specifically, how can we take music to transform people's lives outside of the church? Music doesn't have to be physically here. Can we take our music out? How would we do that? Where would it go? What ideas do you guys have?
Hi, I'm Jean Marie Baldwin, and I am also relatively new here, and I think that collaborating with other choirs or other groups is a good way, or just, getting involved in some of the things that we, give our collection to on Sunday. Like we could go out with the goats and sing, and they would sing along with us. And no one would have to worry about how good their voice was.
Hi, Rick Shores. So this just for me is like one small thing that just came to mind right now, just in terms of like welcoming. I personally find it really nice, like today in the opening piece, when we get a little bit of background. And I think that's a kind of a nice way to welcome people into the music. Especially classical is maybe not everybody's like repertoire. So having that little bit of background kind of gives you something to hang on to when you're listening to that music. Yeah.
Just one thought on taking it out taking our music out to the people. I mean, we do have people living in different communities, right? Retirement communities, maybe the multi-gin choir or parts of the choir could go and do a concert for them, since a lot of them can't come here regularly on Sundays. Just an idea. I'm sure there are community events where I guess we could volunteer to sing. I don't know if they would turn us away, but that's just having to do some investigating and think about events that are happening that we could kind of throw our name in the hat and see if we could go perform. And then, of course, I don't know, there was that Bluegrass on the Grass concert kind of thing somebody was talking about, so we could advertise that. I think you can do a fair amount of advertising in the local papers if it's a free community event, so.
Hi, Nini again. So I was just to attach that to that idea is the new shared ministry of care for music to go out to people who can't access it here would be a great loop in. And I've always wondered why with our community outreach, it's like we focus on one project for a month, and then I just feel like we don't really get to ever do a deeper dive into. So, I love the idea of singing with the goats, but there's just also, there's the garden project we sponsored. There's a DMAX, which is mental health, and youth on college campuses. Yeah, I just feel like there's a place for music.
I just wanted to underline what you were saying, Nini, about going out to maybe CCRCs or other places that are local, because a lot of times they're listening maybe through the computer, and it's not the same as being like right there and having it there. So maybe having a choir go, someplace and to sing. also. I think that's a really great idea. I know there's Trinity House nearby as well as the other CCRCs that we have.
I can't remember the name of it, but what are those pop-up things that people do in malls and parks and whatever? Maybe we could have a group going out and surprising everybody.
Thank you. Sorry. I was at the movies at Bryn Mawr Film Institute, and there was an advertisement for an event here on the 10th, is it? Do you know? Oh, yes. Yes, so, sorry, I don't know if this is more about what you were saying with the conflict of interest, but I was like, ooh, look at that. It was on the big screen, MLUC hosts, and I was really excited about that, because that's a great organization.
That so many groups have trouble finding a venue that's not real expensive, and this turned out to be far less expensive for our group, and I would love for it to be in our community. I mean, I guess I could go on the blog and do it that way, but in our notes or something, so we could attract some people from here, because it would help both groups. And the same as I said for when David did his concert here, more people should have known. So moving forward, we have to think about that too. We talked about the bells. We have this whole, wonderful collection of bells. And the trouble is it's not easy to play bells. And so we didn't get enough people we were supposed to actually do this morning. And I had suggested one of the ideas that we talked about is going out to other community churches and maybe making a collaborative of bell ringers so that we could, come out, each group could combine and it wouldn't be so difficult. We could also, if there was any of those people wanting to do it, have a bell ringing course. It takes more than one session, but maybe people would be interested if they felt like they could learn how to play the bells first. I thought it would be totally easy. It's not. It's not totally easy. So anyway, we do have bells too, which is another thing we have. And back in the old day when Harold Hayes was here, we would do these great Christmas programs. The Amal Night Visitors we did once, that might have been with, I can't remember whether that was Ron Hackenberry or who that was. But anyway, and we also did the fun one. We did them all. The Grinch Stole Christmas, and it was hilarious, and the whole congregation really loved it, and it didn't take that, I don't remember that it took that much work, and it was really fun. It brought young people in. The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Pat Jordan, and anybody else who taught music or drama or dance in schools would be the leadership in that.
So it's Donna again. I dance with the group on a monthly basis. It's called a Zydeco, and there's live music, and the musicians come from usually Louisiana or maybe sometimes even from Canada. But and we're looking for a place to hold the dances. Would this be a place where they could rent the space to hold the dances? And who would they talk to? Okay. And the movers and shakers, were they, did they do any kind of ritual dance or any kind of spiritual or prayer dance or anything like that? It was, and they would dance during the service, or was it something?
The mothers and daughters showed their relationship by dancing.
There were two different groups.
Yeah, I just thought this is
one was a set of little ones, and then there was the mother-daughter.
This might be a good place just to ask the questions, because so many of you have been here for so long and have seen this and have seen that, and I am interested in a spiritual prayer or something like that. Maybe part of the service, maybe another night or day or something like that. But
lots of great ideas.
Jim Schmidt, I was just thinking and reminded that, to my recollection, the largest function that I can recall in the decades that we've been members here was when there was a concert by some Indian musicians who came down from New York, and this place was jammed. And that was very interesting. And the concert started very late because they got lost coming, and it took them forever to get here. But this building was packed, and I don't know that we got any new members from it, but we certainly had a big turnout.
Hey, Jim, do you remember the Tibetan throat singers? I mean, that was a sellout as well. Extraordinary. I mean, something I never expected to see in my lifetime. But you were here, right? Yeah, it was like 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, I think Vincent, or not Vincent, but Ron brought them in, Ron Hockenberry, who had such a broad, perspective on the musical scene in the world. David, I'm sure,
Hi, everyone. I'm Tina Adams. Regarding the multi-generational thing, I'm like bringing more kids in to perform. I just thought, and I really hadn't thought about it much, but I'm a piano teacher of many piano students, kids as well as adults, and I'm sure there's other musicians here who are teachers, and we could invite them to play in a service. Kind of a no-brainer, but I think it would be a good idea. And then we're inviting more people from the community in who are their parents or their friends. The other thing on a separate topic I'd like to say, I totally agree with the idea of having, not always having one type of music at a particular worship service and having the diversity within a service. But I also feel something that I haven't heard mentioned. I feel pretty strongly that the music and whatever choices are made and the length of the pieces support worship. And I just feel that that needed to be said, that it still feels like worship as opposed to perhaps a performance and then we're worshiping. And sometimes it does feel that way to me, and just wanted to say that.
Thank you all for all of your bright ideas. Is there, how do you think this session went? Did we do okay? All right, let me see what Okay, so if you could just hang out for just one more minute, I'm going to pass it back to Barbara, and she's going to wrap up for us. So just a couple minutes.
Well, thank you all, and so many great ideas, and it feels energizing, so thank you. Just want you to know that the board is going to, we've taken notes, we know who said what, and we're going to take all this, not only from this session, but from all the ministry sessions, and look for the integration of all of this as part of sort of our planning going forward, and as part of our commitment is we will be continuing to communicate back with you all. So this won't go into the ether and disappear. There will be follow through, and it will be integral into our thinking and planning, budgeting, priorities, timeline, and yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So thank you all. Thank you.
I would just like to articulate that I've been sitting here not texting, but taking notes, I promise. And I think your ideas collectively are truly brilliant. I don't say that to humor you because I'm supposed to. I'm inspired. I am walking away from this thinking, I got to have a board in my office with all of these ideas to make sure that I find some way to address all of them. I think it's amazing. I think you're amazing. I thank you for entrusting this responsibility to me, and know that I am always, always, always listening to your ideas, all of which today were great.